Good morning, FABcasters. This is our bar, the Foggy Time Drive Time Podcast, reflections of a restored restorer. Last night I watched the Heart of Man movie with my wife, and this is the best depiction of the prodigal son that I've seen from a movie Hollywood perspective. They show this depiction of the prodigal son, which is found in the Gospels, and the father. I'm not going to spoil too much of the movie, but the father in the movie is God the Father, and he makes this violin for his son, just hand carved, and they make music together, and they're having a good time. That's fellowship. And the son grows up. He's got a full-grown beard, and they're still making music together. And he sees off in the distance sin, and there's no lyrics in. I mean, there's no words spoken. It's all acted out, and it's juxtaposed with real testimonies, real people, sexual abuse, infidelity, sexual addiction, porn addiction. The stories are so real, it will cause the rest of us who have struggled with sin of all types to really just stand back and to gasp, one, at how free these people in the video are about sharing their story. Two, it'll let us know that we're not alone. And three, it'll show us the relentless and reckless love of God who pursues those who are enticed by sin. So going back to the son, he's playing violin with his dad, the father. And for a moment he looks over and he sees this island of sin. By my definition, that's what I call it. He sees this island of sin, and it calls out to him. And then he comes to, and then he keeps playing with his dad, and then later on he looks over at the island again, and it lures him. He feels like it's calling him, and he starts walking towards the edge of this cliff, and he drops his violin, and he goes for it. He pursues full-fledged pursuit of this island. He gets there, and so when my wife and I, when we watch movies and there's a seedy scene, this is why we don't watch movies, because I don't want to come across something that causes me to stumble, or I don't like to see skin because I just gets trapped here. But there's a part I got to tell you about where he pursues. He's a scantily clad woman. She's I think she's Asian, maybe Filipino. I don't know, but he pursues her. She's sort of dressed like Moana, right? Like bare shoulder, but she's very seductive, and he pursues her. I would encourage you, if you kind of close your eyes during sensual scenes, you can't do that in this part. You got to keep your eyes open. It is PG-13. Maybe it should be R. I don't know. I wouldn't let my kids watch it because it's they're not ready for it. Maybe it should be NC-17. I don't know. But you have to keep your eyes open, adults, and watch the scene. And it for me, it depicts the realities of sin. And sin blinds you, it binds you, and then it grinds you. So he catches up to this woman. He starts making out with her, and lo and behold, it's sin. I'm going to leave it at that. He gets trapped on the island of sin, and the enemy just pulverizes him, just beats him down. And you know, God's a relentless God. He relentlessly pursues. He restores. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that and say, if you have ever struggled with sin, you got to watch this movie. If you're addicted to pornography, you got to watch this movie. If you've ever cheated on your spouse, you got to watch this movie. One, because it's saturated with truth and the graciousness of a loving Heavenly Father. And the story of the gospel is creation, the fall of man, redemption provided by Jesus Christ and restoration. So creation and restoration are the bookends of God's story. This is about the whole gospel story, particularly now that we are not alone in our sin struggles, and God's in this relentless pursuit of us, even if we're trapped and ensnared in sin. We might be distant, far off on an island, just fully immersed in the old habits, the old ways of thinking, addiction to fill in the blank. And this reminds us the truth of the story of the prodigal son and the loving father is that God is always in pursuit of us, and he's working towards restoring us back to our original created value. He actually already has done it. And he wants to put the violin back in our hands so we can continue to be in fellowship with one another and making music. So that's my short summary of the Heart of Man movie. I hope that you buy it on iTunes like we did, or Amazon Prime, or I think you can get on Netflix. Just some way, somehow get a hold of it. It is produced by Pastor Chad Veach and his wife Julia. It's written by Eric Esau. It's a documentary. There's no words in the movie. It has real testimonies. This is just the perfect. It's rated 4.9 out of 5 stars on Facebook, and even IMDb rates it 8.9 out of 10. So it's just getting raving reviews because it touches on the heart of man. So, all right, Arbar signing off. Go buy that film. Peace.